Time for Twins Pod. It's going to be a damn good show. Yeah. I heard Richard Peterson's making his rounds.
Richard Peterson? Who the hell is
Richard
that?
Peterson? What's his name? Jordan Peterson. Jordan, so I had a bad moment. Jordan Peterson. Well, I said Richard Peterson? Where the hell did I get Richard from? Man, come on, Kevin. Get it together. I've been filming all day, man. I'm tired. Bro, a Negro is tired. You know how sub-Saharans, man, we get tired quick.
Well, I mean, it is funny.
Jordan Peterson.
It is funny. We do got Jordan Peterson again, and it's funny because it's like he's waiting for us to do a podcast together so that we can talk about him. He has some really good timing of when he chooses to go viral. So, man, he did one of these Jubilee videos where it's like, one gorilla versus 100 men, or one conservative versus 100 liberals. Or whatever. So he did one Christian versus 20 atheists, but it turns out that Jordan Peterson doesn't even know if he's Christian or not.
That kind of defeats the purpose, right?
I think so.
Hey, let's look at the clip.
So he gets destroyed by this little liberal twink atheist kid. And Jordan Peterson just keeps taking L's, man.
Why is that relevant?
Because you go to a Catholic church, don't you? Or you've attended recently. You're interested in Catholicism, aren't you?
Sure.
All right. Are you familiar with their doctrines?
Somewhat.
Okay, you're
Their
familiar.
doctrines are very
How do they
deep.
regard Mary?
Why are you asking me that?
Because you're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this?
What?
Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean
either
it,
you're a
'cause I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you if you're a smartass.
Oh, either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression that I was invited to talk to a Christian. Am I not talking to a Christian?
No, you were invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing. Right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
I mean, in one line, right, it seems almost like a throwaway line, but it's really not. He kind of just destroys him in his entire, persona in just one sentence.
Well, he's Christian, right?
I don't know. He's never claimed to be Christian.
I'm thinking he's actually claiming or representing Christians. If you go into a debate, one Christian versus 20 atheists. Well, maybe he's his real name is Jordan Rubenstein.
He certainly acts like it. And remember, last time we did a show together, we did an entire segment about him saying Christ is King is anti-Semitic. So now they flag him as their Christian guy, but he's not even a Christian. And when he's pressed on it, it's so easy, just a little bit of pressure, he can't even proclaim that he believes in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's so unlike him because he's a very smart man. For him,
sharp guy.
Yeah, very sharp, very intelligent. I don't know what's going through his mind.
Hey, how old is? I hate to make this about his age. How old is he now?
Let's see how old he is.
I don't think it has nothing to age. He might be compromised.
No, Kevin, he's
He said
he's not a spring chicken.
He's 62 years old.
62.
Oh, he's 62.
He's a pretty old 62, though. He comes across kind of weathered and weary. And, you young whippersnapper, you can't talk to me like that.
Yeah, but he's still smarter than most people at that age.
You know what? He is, and I've always thought of him to be this super smart, scholarly guy.
Super smart.
PhD, fellow of colleges and all this stuff. And he always owns the liberals at their college campuses and all this stuff. But man, this what he just did with this kid, this is embarrassing. Let's just hear that line one more time.
Invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing. Right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
See, that really pisses me off because I remember Ben Shapiro, he was doing this interview and he pretty much just shut it down. He walked off camera. I hate when people do that. I want to see where the conversation went. You just chickened out and you gave up.
Yeah, but he didn't chicken out. He told him he was done with them, so he had to go.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He chickened out. I want to see where the conversation was going to go.
Yeah.
When
when
things get tough, why you cower down like that and say, well, I'm done talking to you. That's not...
Well, obviously he didn't feel comfortable having that conversation.
Why, though?
But
if
it's
you're
crazy.
The Christian,
he said Jesus Christ is King is anti-Semitic. Now he's at a debate with 20 atheists claiming to be Christian. Then he goes on a debate and says, I'm not Christian. I've never said that. What the hell's going through his mind?
That's what I'm saying. Something's going on with him.
He called everybody anti-Semitic. for saying Christ is king, but you're not a Christian. So what gives you the authority to talk down to us like that?
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? What that kid said, it might seem like silly. Well, you're quite nothing, aren't you?
He is nothing.
But he is nothing. What are you? You're not a Christian. You're not an atheist. You're just a general God believer. Like, what even is that?
Yeah, he pulled a Stephen A. Smith. He's a flip-flopper.
Yeah. He's been flip-flopping a lot, and that wasn't the only kid that kind of put him in the dirt during that debate. This kid also
really?
crushed him too, yeah.
What do you mean by believe?
Do you think it to be true?
That's the circular definition. What do you mean when you say you believe?
How is that circular?
Because you added no content to the answer by substituting the word true and believe.
I said you think it to be true.
All right. So if you believe something, you stake your life on it.
What do you mean by that?
You live for it and you die for it. That's what I mean by that. It isn't something that you say. It isn't something that's associated with logical consistency. It's not declarative. It's not propositional. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's the presupposition of your attention and your action. And you're either fragmented, in which case you worship multiple gods, or there's some unity at the bottom of it that makes you an unstoppable force.
See, this was just an answer to, hey, do you believe in God? Right. And then he just goes on this tangent and he's saying a lot of nothing. It just,
he's not being straightforward.
It's just, exactly.
It's very ambiguous.
Ambiguous and using these words and getting people off track and like trying to play some games.
He's playing monosemantics.
So you're saying that you don't believe something if you wouldn't die for it?
Not really, no.
Okay. So then,
how would you define belief? Something you say?
Can I explain? Like, I could believe it is the case that this pen exists, but if someone like threatened my life, right, I would lie in order to be able to save my life, right? Like, I think you would do that too. You wouldn't lie to save your life?
Don't be so sure.
You wouldn't lie to save your life?
How much do you know about me? I didn't lie to save my career. I didn't lie to save my clinical practice.
Would you lie to like save your children, your mom, your dad?
I don't think lying would save them.
Can there ever be a circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if you're steeped in sin, you're likely to live in circumstances like that.
I'll give you an example. If you're like in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's like Jewish people in your attic and you're trying to protect them, would you lie to like the Nazis?
I would have done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that situation to begin with. It's a hypothetical.
What?
It's not
answer
answerable.
hypotheticals?
That's nuts.
No, I can't answer a hypothetical.
I can't answer a hypothetical.
He's just too deep for everybody there. He's too deep for me.
That's what he's trying
to... He asked you a very clear-cut question, and you spun it and deflected and created something that's so ambiguous that nobody understands.
Hypothetical like that because it's fun. Look, don't play games.
I'm not playing games. I'm just asking if you ate it.
If you present me with an intractable moral choice that's stripped of context and you back me into a corner, you're playing game.
He gave you context.
I would do everything that I could to make sure that I'm never in that situation. But
how could you just not be in a situation where you live in Nazi Germany? Like,
exactly.
What are you even talking about?
Yeah. I don't know. There's probably something going on with him that
at the time
that nobody's aware of.
Something's going through his life.
Because I've watched him for years, and I've always found him to be like a really sharp guy.
Yeah.
Clear, straightforward too, blunt. Yeah. Now he's just very ambiguous.
You've got there, you've made so many mistakes that there's nothing you can do that isn't a sin.
Being born.
But again, like sin, right? Where does sin come from? Who taught us about sin?
Right.
Jesus. And you can't even proclaim that he's your Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about sin, and you're using all of his ideas, and you're using them as your foundation for your psychology and your philosophy and all this stuff, but you can't even proclaim him as your Messiah.
Right.
So what are you? What even are you?
Christ is king.
You're an anti-Semite.
Nazi Germany in trying to protect people that you care about. Like there could be a Jewish friend that you have and you want to protect them.
I think you should just give up on that line of questioning.
Give up on just like trying to clarify your position? Because are you like uncomfortable with me asking this question? It's just a basic hypothetical. Like I could ask you.
It's just a basic hypothetical
like
where you put Jews' lives at stake in Nazi Germany. That's just a basic hypothetical.
Obviously, you would.
That actually happened.
Life, but you're like not trying to answer this question for some reason.
I just told you why.
Are you anti-fascist? Like, so you're
Why
anti-fascist?
are you asking that?
I was just asking, just clarifying. But like, okay, again, you're not answering this hypothetical because you know it shows that you clearly would lie to save
I'm
someone's life.
answering it in
Obviously,
a
that's
manner
not what
you
truth
don't
is.
find acceptable.
Obviously, because I care about truth.
I wouldn't be in that scenario.
Obviously,
What?
right? Logically, because that's
No.
already happened. Like, that's in the past. You don't have a time travel device. We're bringing this logical hypothetical up to show you that in some circumstances that do happen within the real world, you would lie to save people's lives. So your definition of truth isn't actually how we're typically using it. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to muddy the waters. When I ask you, like, do you believe this? Do you think this to be true? So you don't actually have to answer the questions. And plenty of Christians don't like that because they clearly see that you don't really like want to be associated with
I can
Christianity. with that
imagine
respect.
that I
See that?
Yeah.
This kid gets it. This kid called him out for exactly what we're saying. He doesn't he can't profess it. He just muddies the waters.
Right.
And you know what? The thing about Jordan Peterson, who do you think his biggest fan base is? Who do you think the biggest demographic of his fan base? Yeah.
Rural Christians.
Yeah. White Christian men.
Yeah. They see him as a father figure.
Exactly. But his whole thing is like cosplaying as a Christian when he's really not an atheist, but I don't even know what he is. But he's just taken a lot of L's lately.
He thinks he has the authority to say Christ is king, is anti-Semitic, but he doesn't have the authority to. He doesn't think he has the authority to address Christianity.
Yeah, and this is the clip. This is sort of the most famous clip of him. This is what made everybody think that he's a Christian. This is what he answers when he's just asked, "Hey, do you believe in Jesus?"
sometimes the objective world and the narrative world touch. You know, that's Jungian synchronicity. And I've seen that many times in my own life. And so in some sense, I believe it's undeniable. You know, we have a narrative sense of the world. For me, that's been the world of morality. That's the world that tells us how to act. It's real. Like, we treat it like it's real. It's not the objective world. But the narrative and the objective world touch. And the ultimate example of that, in principle, is supposed to be Christ. But I don't know what to... that seems to me oddly plausible.
Yeah.
But I still don't know what to make of it. It's too... partly because it's too terrifying a reality to fully believe. I don't even know what would happen to you if you fully believed it.
If you believed in the story of Christ, or if you believed that history and let's say the narrative meet, let's
both, I think. I think you, because when you believe that, you buy both those stories. You believe that the narrative and the objective can actually touch.
I mean, like, so it's like a novel idea to believe in Jesus. Is that what he's trying to say? And it's like, oh wow, like he might be a historically accurate person, and he's represents all these things that we have in novels and narratives. And
now, how old is that video?
That video is from 4 years ago.
But he never really addressed that he was, or confirmed that he was Christian.
No, he never did.
He just led everybody to believe.
Yeah.
People made the assumption that he was Christian.
And he said it's too scary to believe.
Yeah, everybody assumed he was Christian because everybody's just fangirling. They're not really paying attention to what he's saying. So I guess we're the fools, really, because Jubilee, he tricked and fooled everybody. I thought he was a Christian.
Yeah.
You know, I automatically assumed that, but...
He snitched on himself.
Yeah,
he did.
He played on everybody's assumptions. That's what he did.
And his book is called Those Who Wrestle with God. That's his book. And that's the biblical definition of Israel too, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
If you are Israel, that means you are one that wrestles with God, or one that struggles with God, one that struggles to be in God's example. I guess that's what the Israel means, and that's what he named his book. And of course, we know that he's a very big Israel show. It's just like little weird word games, weird connections that kind of go with him.
Joe, you're a Christian, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe he's a Christian?
I don't know if people. I pray for. I want him to be a Christian. I think he'd be a great voice for Christians if he actually came out and said, "I believe in Jesus." But the thing about Jordan Peterson is, it's like, how can you be a Christian if you want everybody in Palestine to die? Right? Mm-hmm. He said that he sits there and tweets, "Kill them all, Netanyahu! Light them up! Scorched earth!" You know,
tweeted that?
He tweeted that. That's one of the. He was on October 7th. He was one of the people that really tweeted like, "Hey, no mercy, kill them all." You know,
that's crazy.
And I don't know. That might be Judeo-Christian values that they try to say is a real thing, but it's not.
I don't
Christian
think
values.
Judeo-Christian. I'm
I
just
think
Christian.
that's just a made-up word for Jews.
Exactly. And you know what? I don't want to hate on Jordan Peterson. I really don't, because just like y'all, like he was I used to listen to his stuff and watch his red pill videos and him like taking down the liberals and all that stuff. But that just doesn't cut it anymore. Right? Those little videos of people saying, "Oh, men shouldn't use the women's restroom. Men shouldn't use the women's locker room. We shouldn't have to all get vaccinated." You know, right? That's well, I think he was actually for the vaccine in the beginning, but you know, he flip-flopped on that.
Looking back on it, look at all these damn red flags.
Yeah. It's a lot of red flags with him. You know, it's unfortunate, but hopefully he can get a W soon. Hopefully he can change his ways, but his whole kind of facade seems to be crumbling around us.
Well, anybody that says kill them all, and I lose all respect for you. I don't care how intelligent you are. You're a mass murderer in my book.
Y'all like that last Ram we gave away? Yeah. So we got us another one. Check this Ram out. 2500 heavy duty turbo diesel Ram. R-A-M or Ram. It's got all kinds of Ram action. Yeah, I love this Ram. You can really ram something with this. What color is this, graphite? That is white supremacist graphite right there. Got a good handle on it. See that handle? Built like a tank, but it drives like a race car. Go to officialhardswings.com. Anything you buy from the site get you automatically in a win. Yeah. No purchase necessary. Going where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.